We were still physically apart most of the time due to our respective careers and ambitions. However, we were optimistic about our future together, believing that love could conquer any obstacle. Despite the distance, we cherished the moments we could spend together, whether it was a brief visit during a holiday or a stolen weekend getaway. Our bond remained strong, fueled by countless late-night conversations and unwavering support for each other's dreams. As the years passed, we both made strides in our careers. I climbed the ranks in the legal field, taking on more responsibilities and earning recognition for my expertise. Meanwhile, Jennifer continued to pursue acting with unwavering determination, landing small roles in indie films and commercials, while auditioning for larger opportunities. However, beneath the surface of our seemingly perfect relationship, cracks began to appear. The strain of long distance and the pressures of our respective careers took their toll, leading to moments of doubt and insecurity. I couldn't shake the feeling that Jennifer was keeping something from me, that there was a part of her life she wasn't sharing. My suspicions were confirmed one fateful day when I stumbled upon a series of emails on our shared computer. They were exchanges between Jennifer and a director, discussing an upcoming project and referencing intimate moments they had shared together. My heart sank as I realized the truth. Jennifer had been having an affair with a director she had met during her time in Europe. The shock and betrayal were overwhelming. How could she have kept this from me? How long had this been going on? Questions swirled in my mind as I confronted Jennifer, demanding answers that she struggled to provide. She pleaded for forgiveness, claiming that it was a mistake and that she still loved me, but I couldn't bring myself to believe her. Our marriage had been built on trust and honesty, and Jennifer's infidelity shattered that foundation beyond repair. Despite my love for her, I knew that I couldn't continue in a relationship tainted by deceit and betrayal. With a heavy heart, I made the agonizing decision to end our marriage, realizing that our once promising future had been irreparably tarnished by her actions. As I reflect on our 9 years together, I'm filled with a mix of emotions: sadness for the love we lost, anger for the betrayal I endured, and a profound sense of disappointment in the person I thought I knew. Yet, amidst the pain, I'm grateful for the lessons learned and the opportunity to move forward with my life, free from the shackles of a relationship that was no longer true. I began to notice subtle changes in her behavior. She became more distant, spending long hours away from home and often returning late at night. At first, I attributed it to the demands of her career, understanding that the entertainment industry could be unpredictable and demanding. However, as time went on, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. My suspicions were further fueled by her evasiveness whenever I asked about her projects or her whereabouts. She brushed off my inquiries with vague responses, claiming confidentiality agreements and the need to focus on her craft. Despite my growing unease, I didn't want to jump to conclusions or accuse her without concrete evidence. Then one day, while tidying up our home office, I stumbled upon a folder hidden away in a drawer. Inside were documents detailing my wife's contracts and schedules for an upcoming film shoot. As I scanned through the papers, my heart sank. The dates and locations coincided with the times when she had been absent from home, supposedly for auditions or meetings. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. My wife had been lying to me about her acting career. Instead of attending auditions or meetings, she had been filming a movie, keeping me in the dark about her success and the extent of her involvement in the industry. It was a betrayal that cut deep, shaking the foundation of our marriage and leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about her. Confronting her about my discovery was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I struggled to find the right words as I confronted her with the evidence, watching as her facade crumbled before my eyes. She tried to explain herself, pleading for forgiveness and promising to be more honest in the future. But the damage had been done, and I couldn't ignore the deceit that had tainted our relationship. In the weeks that followed, we tried to salvage what was left of our marriage, seeking counseling and attempting to rebuild trust. But the wounds ran too deep, and the rift between us only seemed to widen with each passing day. Eventually, we came to the painful realization that our marriage was irreparably broken, shattered by lies and deception. As we parted ways, I couldn't help but wonder how things had gone so wrong. We had once been so in sync, sharing our hopes and dreams for the future. But somewhere along the way, we had lost sight of each other, consumed by our own ambitions and the secrets we kept hidden. In the end, all that remained were shattered illusions and the painful truth of our failed marriage. As Jennifer stepped into the dimly lit living room, Her expression shifted from surprise to concern as she noticed the intensity in my gaze. I could feel the weight of the evidence burning a hole in my pocket, each photograph a damning piece of the puzzle that had shattered my trust in her. Without a word, I handed her the envelope containing the incriminating images, watching as her eyes widened in shock and disbelief. For a moment, there was silence, broken only by the sound of our shallow breaths echoing in the room. Her initial reaction was denial, her voice trembling as she attempted to explain away the damning evidence. She claimed it was a misunderstanding, a case of mistaken identity, but I could see the desperation in her eyes, the flicker of guilt that betrayed her words. As the truth began to sink in, anger bubbled up inside me, a potent mix of betrayal and heartache that threatened to consume me. How could she deceive me like this, betraying the vows we had made to each other, the promises of loyalty and honesty that now lay shattered at our feet? I demanded answers, pressing her for the truth, but each evasion only fueled my rage. It was clear she had been living a double life, hiding her activities behind a facade of innocence and deception. The woman I thought I knew had become a stranger, a shadowy figure lurking in the shadows of our once happy home. In the days that followed, we attempted to salvage what was left of our marriage, seeking counseling and attempting to rebuild the trust that had been shattered by her betrayal. But the wounds ran too deep, the scars too fresh, and despite our efforts, the gulf between us only seemed to widen with each passing day. Eventually, we came to the painful realization that our marriage was irreparably broken, torn apart by lies and deceit. We parted ways, each carrying the weight of our own regrets and sorrows, haunted by the ghost of what could have been. As I look back on those dark days, I can't help but wonder how things might have been different if I had seen the signs sooner, if I had listened to my instincts instead of dismissing them as paranoia. But in the end, the truth had a way of revealing itself, no matter how painful or heartbreaking it may be. I was surprised to find Jennifer's reaction upon discovering me awake, considering I was usually fast asleep by the time she returned. Looking back, I should have recognized this as a red flag, but they say hindsight is 20/20ths. Carrying the damning evidence in my pocket, I wanted to hear her side of the story before jumping to conclusions. I asked her directly why she was working at a private couples club. She seemed taken aback, responding with a denial, claiming confusion and questioning the source of these accusations. Despite my anger, I managed to stay composed and showed her the photos. Her denial crumbled with each glance at the evidence. Her face drained of color, and guilt seemed to radiate from her. Any doubts I had about the authenticity of the photos vanished. Instead of more lies or defensiveness, she broke down in tears, admitting her actions were to save our home. She apologized, claiming she was ashamed and desperate to prevent disappointment. However, her apology felt inadequate, like a band-aid on a gaping wound. I questioned her justification, reminding her that her fear of disappointing me did not excuse her betrayal. I pressed her about her future plans, pointing out that she could have quit after I secured a new job months ago. She appeared speechless, and suddenly everything clicked into place: the designer labels, the expensive decor, her extravagant wardrobe. How could I have been so blind? She had transformed from a humble actress to a highly paid symbol of sensuality. One question lingered: did she enjoy it? Her silence was deafening. Finally, she asked what I wanted her to do. I fought back tears, torn between anger and sorrow. Despite the betrayal, I couldn't bring myself to say the word. Divorce. It felt like admitting defeat, conceding to the destruction of our marriage. Reluctantly, I agreed to give her another chance, though my heart ached with doubt and mistrust. I made it clear that trust once broken was not easily repaired, and there would be no more secrets or lies if we were to rebuild our relationship. In the days that followed, I watched her closely, searching for any sign of deception or betrayal. Every missed phone call, every late night out, sent a shiver of doubt down my spine. The wounds of her betrayal were still raw, and it would take more than words to heal them. Despite my reservations, a small part of me dared to hope that perhaps, just perhaps, our love was strong enough to withstand the storm. But deep down, I knew the road ahead would be long and treacherous, filled with obstacles that threatened to tear us apart once more. As I reflect on the events that brought us to this point, I wonder if forgiving her was an act of love or foolishness. Only time will tell if our love is strong enough to weather the trials ahead, or if it was destined to crumble under the weight of our mistakes. But for now, all I can do is hold on to hope and pray that our love will be enough to see us through. I was filled with a mix of anticipation and dread. My mind raced with possibilities of what this anonymous informant could reveal to me. As I waited, I couldn't help but replay all the moments of doubt and suspicion that had plagued me since discovering Jennifer's secret life. When the mysterious informant finally arrived, I was surprised to see a middle-aged man with a serious demeanor. He wasted no time getting to the point, sliding an envelope across the table towards me. Inside were more photos, ones that depicted Jennifer in compromising situations with various men. My heart sank as I looked at the evidence before me, feeling a wave of betrayal wash over me once again. The informant explained that he had been monitoring Jennifer's activities for some time, providing me with the proof I needed to confront her. He revealed details about her frequent late-night outings, her lavish spending sprees, and her interactions with questionable individuals. It was clear that Jennifer's behavior went far beyond what I had initially suspected, and I felt a deep sense of hurt and anger brewing within me. After gathering myself, I thanked the informant for his help and assured him that I would take it from here. As he left, I was left alone with my thoughts, grappling with the harsh reality of my situation. I couldn't deny the evidence before me, nor could I continue to turn a blind eye to Jennifer's actions. With a heavy heart, I made the decision to confront Jennifer once and for all. I knew that this confrontation would mark the end of our marriage, but I couldn't continue to live in a state of denial and betrayal. Gathering all the evidence I had accumulated, I prepared to face the truth head-on. When Jennifer returned home that evening, I confronted her with the photos and the information provided by the informant. At first, she tried to deny everything, but as I presented more and more evidence, her defenses crumbled. She broke down in tears, confessing to her infidelity and begging for my forgiveness. But forgiveness was not something I could easily grant. The trust between us had been irreparably shattered, and I knew that our marriage could never be the same again. With a heavy heart, I made the painful decision to end our relationship, knowing that it was the only way to find peace and move forward with my life. In the days that followed, I began the process of untangling our lives, dividing our assets and making arrangements for our separation. It was a painful and difficult process, but I knew that it was necessary in order to find closure and start anew. Looking back on it now, I realized that confronting Jennifer was the first step towards reclaiming my life and my sense of self-worth. It was a painful and heartbreaking experience, but ultimately, it was necessary in order to free myself from the chains of betrayal and deceit. As I move forward into the unknown, I am filled with a sense of hope and determination. I know that the road ahead will be challenging, but I am ready to face whatever comes my way with courage and resilience. And though the scars of this experience may never fully heal, I am confident that I will emerge stronger and wiser on the other side. As Nancy's story unfolded, I found myself plunged into a tumultuous whirlpool of emotions, each revelation hitting me with the force of a thunderous wave. It was as though the very fabric of my reality was being torn apart, revealing a dark underbelly that I had never imagined existed. Listening to Nancy's detailed account of Jessica's gradual descent into deception and betrayal was like witnessing the unraveling of a carefully crafted facade. Every word painted a vivid picture of a woman consumed by her desires, willing to sacrifice integrity and honesty in pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The image of Jessica, once my beloved wife, morphing into a shadow of her former self, lured by the allure of luxury and attention, left me reeling. How could someone I had trusted implicitly, someone I had built a life with, harbor such duplicity and deceit beneath the surface? Nancy's recollection of that fateful night, when Jessica's drunken confession inadvertently exposed her web of lies, sent shockwaves through my core. It was a revelation so profound, so devastating, that it threatened to shatter the very foundation of trust upon which our marriage had been built. And yet, amidst the chaos and turmoil, Nancy emerged as a beacon of courage and integrity. Her decision to confront Jessica's deception head-on, to risk her own livelihood to expose the truth, spoke volumes about her character and unwavering loyalty. As Nancy's narrative drew to a close, I found myself grappling with a maelstrom of conflicting emotions, anger, betrayal, disbelief. But amidst the storm, there was also a glimmer of clarity, a newfound resolve to confront Jessica and demand the truth. Armed with Nancy's revelations, I knew that I could no longer turn a blind eye to the deception that had poisoned our marriage. It was time to confront Jessica, to peel back the layers of deceit and reclaim control of my life. Though the road ahead would undoubtedly be fraught with pain and uncertainty, I was determined to face it head-on, armed with the unwavering resolve to uncover the truth and rebuild from the ashes of betrayal. For in the crucible of adversity, true strength is forged, and I was ready to emerge from the fire, transformed and renewed. The night of confrontation with my wife replayed in my mind like a relentless loop. It was a moment etched in memory, filled with accusations, undeniable truths, and a profound sense of regret for not trusting my instincts sooner. As I sat in silence, grappling with the whirlwind of emotions, Nancy, with remarkable patience, awaited my response. Her presence served as a stark reminder of the honesty and candor that had been lacking in my marriage. Expressing gratitude for Nancy's unwavering honesty, I found myself disclosing my decision to initiate divorce proceedings. It was a decision weighed down by the gravity of betrayal and the undeniable truth that our marriage had reached an irreparable impasse. With Nancy's departure from the restaurant, a sense of unease settled over me, compounded by the arrival of a startling letter. The letter, a testament to my wife's preemptive strike, levied allegations of mistreatment, infidelity, and misconduct against me. Accompanied by a photo of Nancy and me, taken at the very restaurant where we had met, it was clear that Jessica, my wife, had been meticulously monitoring my activities. Anger and frustration surged within me, mingling with a profound sense of betrayal and disbelief. Despite the onslaught of accusations and public defamation on social media, I remained resolute in my determination to defend myself. I rehired the private investigator, arming myself with a plethora of evidence against my deceitful wife. The evidence, meticulously gathered and organized, served as a testament to the truth that would soon be revealed in court. In the midst of the chaos, I reached out to Nancy, seeking her willingness to testify on my behalf during the impending divorce hearing. Her affirmative response provided a glimmer of hope amidst the turmoil, a beacon of truth in a sea of lies and deception. With Nancy by my side, I embarked on a journey to reclaim my dignity and integrity, to confront the betrayal that had shattered my world. As the date of the divorce hearing approached, I found myself consumed by a mix of emotions, anger, fear, and a profound sense of determination. I spent countless hours meticulously organizing evidence, preparing myself mentally for what I perceived as the ultimate showdown. With Nancy's unwavering support, I found the strength to face the challenges that lay ahead, to confront my wife and demand accountability for her actions. Finally, the day of the divorce hearing arrived, shrouded in tension and anticipation. Accompanied by Nancy, I made my way to the courthouse in Virginia, ready to confront the lies and deception that had plagued our marriage. With Nancy strategically positioned in the courtroom, I prepared myself for the legal battle that would determine the fate of our marriage. As my attorney arrived, followed by my wife's grand entrance, accompanied by her extended family and a well-dressed man, I braced myself for the confrontation that lay ahead. It was a moment fraught with emotion, a culmination of months of pain and betrayal. Yet amidst the chaos, I remained resolute in my determination to seek justice and reclaim my dignity. As the hearing unfolded, the atmosphere in the courtroom grew tense, each word spoken carrying the weight of our marital turmoil. My heart sank as my wife's attorney launched into his opening statement, leveling accusations against me that felt like a betrayal in themselves. I listened in disbelief as he painted a picture of me as the villain, accusing me of the very infidelity I had confronted my wife about. He alleged that I had coerced her into resigning from her job and withheld support when I found better employment. The claim that I intended to deny her alimony struck me like a physical blow, shattering any illusions of fairness in the proceedings. But the most shocking revelation came when he mentioned a daughter, allegedly neglected and in need of financial assistance. The existence of such a child had never been disclosed to me, casting a shadow of doubt over everything I thought I knew about my marriage. It was a revelation that left me reeling, struggling to comprehend how such a monumental secret could have been kept hidden for so long. As I grappled with this newfound information, I realized the extent of the deception that had been woven into the fabric of our relationship. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than any infidelity, a breach of trust that threatened to unravel the very foundation of our marriage. But there was no time to dwell on these revelations, no room for sentimentality or weakness. With the divorce hearing already in progress, I had no choice but to confront the accusations head-on, to fight for my innocence and my future. When it was our turn to speak, my attorney wasted no time in dismantling the false narrative that had been constructed against me. He presented evidence refuting the allegations of infidelity and financial neglect, highlighting inconsistencies and falsehoods in my wife's claims. With each piece of evidence presented, I felt a glimmer of hope flicker within me, a sense of vindication that urged me to push forward. My attorney's impassioned defense spoke to the truth that had been obscured by my wife's deceit, laying bare the extent of her betrayal for all to see. As the hearing drew to a close, I knew that the battle was far from over. The wounds inflicted by my wife's betrayal ran deep, leaving scars that would take time to heal. But in that moment, standing in the crucible of the courtroom, I refused to be defeated. I would emerge from this trial stronger and more resilient than ever before, ready to reclaim my life and rebuild in the aftermath of betrayal. Into the cavernous depths of the courtroom, where the air hummed with anticipation and tension, I stood amidst the fray of legal battle, a lone warrior in a sea of adversaries. As the judge's gavel echoed through the chamber, my heart raced with a blend of apprehension and determination, knowing that the fate of my future hung precariously in the balance. With bated breath, I listened as my wife's attorney launched into an opening salvo of accusations, each word a piercing arrow aimed squarely at my character. The allegations rang out like thunder, accusing me of sins I had never committed, painting a distorted portrait of betrayal and neglect. It was a surreal moment, to stand accused of the very transgressions I had sought to uncover, a twisted reflection of reality that left me reeling. Yet, amidst the chaos of the courtroom, a steely resolve began to take root within me. For I knew that the truth was on my side, a beacon of light amidst the darkness of deceit. With unwavering determination, I steeled myself for the battle ahead, ready to confront each falsehood with the unwavering strength of my conviction. As my attorney rose to counter the barrage of accusations, I felt a surge of hope swell within me. With each meticulously crafted argument, he dismantled the web of lies woven by my adversaries, laying bare the truth for all to see. Exhibits were presented, evidence was scrutinized, and with each passing moment, the tide began to turn in my favor. But it was not until the final piece of evidence was revealed that the full extent of my wife's deception came to light. As the courtroom beheld the damning photograph, a hushed silence descended upon the chamber. There, captured in vivid detail, was irrefutable proof of my wife's duplicity, a stark contrast to the fabricated narrative she had woven. In that moment, the weight of the truth hung heavy in the air, a palpable reminder of the power of justice to prevail. And as the judge delivered his verdict, I felt a sense of vindication wash over me, a validation of my unwavering pursuit of truth in the face of adversity. Walking out of that courtroom, I carried with me not just the weight of a legal victory, but the knowledge that I had stood firm in the face of injustice and emerged victorious. For though the road ahead may still be fraught with challenges, I knew that I had faced the ultimate test and emerged stronger for it. And so, as I stepped into the warm embrace of the outside world, I did so with a newfound sense of purpose and resolve. For in the crucible of the courtroom, I had discovered the true measure of my strength, and I was ready to face whatever the future may hold, armed with the unwavering conviction that truth would always prevail in the end. As I stood there in the dimly lit kitchen, waiting for the popcorn to finish popping, I couldn't shake off the shock of what I had just witnessed. My heart raced with a mixture of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. How could she do this to me? The woman I had trusted with my heart, my life, was engaging in such an intimate act with another man, right under our own roof. But amidst the turmoil of my emotions, a sense of clarity began to emerge. I realized that I deserved better than this. I deserved a partner who would be faithful, loyal, and true. And as I nibbled on the popcorn, each kernel a bitter reminder of the lies and deceit that had tainted our relationship, I made a silent vow to myself. I vowed that I would not allow her betrayal to define me. I would not let it break me. Instead, I would rise above it, stronger and more resilient than ever before. I would take back control of my life and my happiness, no longer tethered to someone who didn't value or respect me. With that newfound resolve coursing through my veins, I began to formulate a plan. I would wait for the opportune moment to confront her, to lay bare the truth of her infidelity and deception. And when that moment came, I would have the strength to walk away, to leave behind the shattered remnants of our relationship, and forge a new path forward. As the minutes ticked by, the sounds from the bedroom grew louder, a stark reminder of the betrayal unfolding just down the hall. But I remained steadfast in my determination, my resolve unyielding. For I knew that no matter what happened next, I would emerge from this ordeal with my dignity intact and my head held high. And so, as I waited in the darkness of the kitchen, popcorn in hand and heart heavy with sorrow, I braced myself for the confrontation that lay ahead. It would be the beginning of the end, the closing chapter of a love story that had soured beyond repair. But in its place would rise a new chapter, one filled with hope, resilience, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. As I stood there in the dimly lit kitchen of her home, the silence of the evening enveloped me like a heavy blanket. My mind raced, grappling with the reality of what I had just witnessed. The echoes of their passionate encounter still reverberated through the hallway, a constant reminder of her betrayal. It was in that moment of solitude that the idea of popcorn came to me, a small gesture of normalcy amidst the chaos of my crumbling relationship. With a sense of determination, I reached for the familiar box of popcorn nestled in the pantry, its presence a silent testament to the countless movie nights and shared moments of joy we had once enjoyed together. As I tore open the packaging and placed the bag in the microwave, a strange sense of nostalgia washed over me, mingling with the bitterness of betrayal that lingered in the air. As the microwave hummed softly, filling the kitchen with its rhythmic whirring, I couldn't help but replay the events of the evening in my mind. The image of her, entwined with another man, haunted me, each fleeting moment etched into my memory like a scar. But amidst the turmoil, there was a strange sense of clarity that washed over me, a newfound resolve to confront the truth, no matter how painful it may be. And so, with a steady hand, I set the microwave timer and waited, the minutes ticking by like an eternity. Finally, as the microwave chimed its completion, I retrieved the steaming bag of popcorn, the warm aroma of butter and salt filling the air. It was a small comfort, a familiar ritual in the face of uncertainty. With the popcorn in hand, I made my way to the living room, the glow of the television casting long shadows across the walls. I settled into the couch, the soft cushions offering a fleeting sense of solace amidst the chaos of my crumbling world. But as I reached for the remote, my gaze was drawn to the faint glow emanating from her bedroom door down the hall. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks, a sudden surge of adrenaline coursing through my veins. Curiosity piqued. I set the bowl of popcorn down on the coffee table and rose from the couch, my footsteps echoing softly against the hardwood floor. With each step, the tension in the air grew thicker, a palpable sense of anticipation hanging in the air. As I approached her bedroom door, the sounds from within grew louder, the rhythmic creaking of the bed serving as a stark reminder of her infidelity. With a mixture of trepidation and determination, I pressed my ear against the door, straining to catch any snippets of conversation amidst the cacophony of moans and whispers. But what I heard next stopped me dead in my tracks, the blood draining from my face as the reality of her betrayal hit me like a freight train. It was the sound of her laughter, a sound so familiar and yet so utterly foreign in this context. In that moment, everything became painfully clear. The late nights at work, the secretive phone calls, the distant look in her eyes, they had all been signs, warning me of the truth that I had been too blind to see. With a heavy heart, I backed away from the door, the weight of her betrayal crushing me like a ton of bricks. But amidst the pain and heartache, there was a flicker of something else, a simmering anger, a righteous indignation at being deceived. And so, with a sense of grim determination, I made my way back to the living room, the bowl of popcorn forgotten amidst the turmoil of my emotions. It was time to confront her, to demand answers, to tear down the facade of lies that she had built around us. As I stood there, in the dimly lit living room, a sense of resolve washed over me, a quiet determination to reclaim my dignity and confront the truth, no matter how painful it may be. And so, with a steady hand and a heavy heart, I made my way to her bedroom door, ready to confront the woman who had shattered my world with her betrayal.